Hello and welcome to this video on preparing your bonsai for being potted and displayed. Training pots are something of a misnomer, but also a somewhat accurate description. It depends on how you want to view things. A training pot is fundamentally a smaller pot that encourages the growth of a root mass with very few large roots and many small roots spread over a wide area with very little depth. This is a step needed before potting a bonsai with the desired trunk girth, style and other features that will be exhibited. From here, you put your bonsai in a display pot which has reduced drainage, is generally much nicer looking, and has fewer if any features used to train the bonsai. The advantages to training pots over putting your bonsai straight into a bonsai pot is that it often contains more soil and is larger. That gives you more time to grow between repotting. It also supports more growth quicker. It requires considerably less maintenance, such as daily watering. If you want growth, but also working towards an exhibitable tree, this is a good option. The alternative is regular soil in a large pot, or even planting your bonsai in the ground. This will result in the growth of large roots that are undesirable. There will be fewer feeder roots. The bigger size will give you much more growth, which is perhaps the only and major positive effect of doing it this way. The advantages in a training pot occur because the training pot is not always grown with bonsai soil, although you can do that. You can use more normal soil that will drain from this. If you are only training to transfer to a bonsai pot, you should use bonsai soil. If you plan to train the tree for several years, using regular soil with plenty of organic matter, fertilizer and aeration is best. This will support maximum growth while you do everything else required. The size of this pot is much bigger than a regular bonsai pot, although the shape is roughly the same in many cases. It's also going to be much smaller than a normal growing pot. That makes the transition much easier for your trees. Many plants do not take kindly to having the root mass cut to 2/3 of their original size, transferred to a new pot and then expected to grow. The shock is often too much. A training pot minimizes many of the problems, and the tree begins to adapt to a much more confined space. You'll also be able to train it to adapt to a different growing medium. A final note is about the viability of training pots and how to deal with large trees. Buying training pots is an option. These tend to be made of plastic and will come with various features like tie-down points, drainage, similar size to a bonsai pot, and more. Being plastic, UV light from the sun will degrade them, and they often only have a lifetime of about 2 to 3 years. This in many cases means that they are only useful for a single bonsai. The other option for you is to make your own. There are two options. The first is a simple wooden box. The second is a polystyrene box. Both will work just as well for the most part. The upside to a wooden box is you can make the sides easily removed for ease of root pruning. We do this by having the short ends permanently fixed to where they go, but the long sides have the screws in there in such a way that we can take them off later on. That means we can literally slide the tree out on its widest side. This approach and this style of growing box is suitable for large trees in particular. This is because there are very few, if no, training pots for large trees. You will have to make your own for these. The upside to polystyrene boxes is that they are often free, easily worked with, and are also very light, more so than a wooden box would be. Handling of both is very much the same, so you're not going to have any particular problems in having things grow in one versus the other. The way they behave and what you need to do is exactly the same. The only difference is how convenient they are to move and handle, and how convenient they are to take things out of. Thank you for watching this video. If you have found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please post any comments, questions, or suggestions that you have below.